Right, so welcome to Netarah. This map, at first glance, might be a hard sell, because scale is a very hard thing to convene, and again, because of the UDK issues, even in UDK, it will need some scaling and everything. But this is a different concept. This is the first concept that I showed you, with a hill in the middle, separated by trenches, and then other hills. For instance, this is a very old concept of mine, the one that I first used in one of my mapping concepts, mapping articles even. Okay, so the way this works is, if you look at the top, so I'm just going to say these are the base areas circled with a sort of a trench, right, sort of a barrier there, and this one is the other one, so it's diagonally mirrored map. Okay, so the way this works is, again, this is made by me manually. I've painted these hills, okay, and I've thought about most of them. Now, of course, the middle hill is to be tunneled, and there's going to be a conduit at the top here to allow HO to go down there, or even just regular offense, right? Now, the thing is, again, the scale, I've beefed up the hills a little bit to show some volume, because this map is big. Okay, if you go to the top view, you can see a clear square around the center there where it's a little bit cut off. All right, that area there is basically katabatic, with outside the outer bounds grid, everything included. That's sort of my reference point, 128 pixels wide. Well, areas wide, whatever they use, but it's 128. So it's big, all right, it's very big. That's also why the bases are actually quite near to each other, and there's a lot of terrain outside that can be used, and it's a bit more traditional in terms of cluster play, that you probably won't use all of the terrain, so it's less extreme than Zub's Lament, which is of course to point out the core concept. So yeah, there's capping routes everywhere. Now, again, to show you scale, I'm just going to show you the stand view, okay? So this is where I'm standing on the stand. This is where the spawn would be behind it. There would be a tunnel behind this, where, again, with a covered spawn point, where snipers would not be that much of a problem. You can see the view here to the left side of the base. There's a lot of, a low area side blocking. The trenches are deep enough in the terrain so the cappers won't be noticed. There's an entry point for cappers here. That would be a diagonal side that would go through there, but nothing would be straight to stand, but it would be rather direct. There's a lot of terrain out there. This looks very open, is because it is, but the hills still are nothing to fuck with. This little chasm here, if you load it into UDK right now, the scale could be compared to the rain dance middle river going through the dry river. So very big scale. Everything is very big scale. If you ski down this, you would probably go 200. Okay, so this is a big, giant map idea. You might see some similarities with KatArx, because it's the same concept. Basically, the big hill in the middle, tunnel through it to facilitate, it's because this is a concept that I've made about 2 months ago. I've sent it to hires, and I hope I've influenced them a little bit. I would really love for some of these concepts to actually bleed through and have a different style of play without the llama trains. The only difference is that if you look at KatArx, KatArx here, the idea is there, with the giant hole in the middle, go through there for the heavy so they don't have to go up it. But look at this area here, I do not like, because it looks to be a bit too flat and too close. The map looks too small for the kind of behavior I'm looking here now, like that. This is a no-go area anymore, and then it goes up to the base, which makes it hard for offense to actually enter. So it's the same concept, but I think if you go back, whoops, not that one, there you go, to this is much bigger in scale, okay, but facilitating a lot bigger speeds as well, and you can band-aid the crap out of it. I mean, I wanted the base to be in the middle here somewhere, to go out into those trenches and no llama trenches because they don't connect to the enemy base, right? And just find your way across. And of course, the shortcut would be through the hill, which could not be used for capping whatsoever because it was you can't get speed off of this. It's if you go back to the stand idea, I mean the hill is here to block back to fronts, so you can't go straight for that. There's a lot of ideas here that still need to be fleshed out, and I really like to see this map implemented in some way, maybe in UDK, and that's what I'm going to work at to see it for real. The problem is I will never be able to test this kind of terrain, whether or not it's possible with the current physics, because that's another thing. If you have maps like this, you could alter the physics to make it more easy and maybe remove some of the speed conduit band-aids that are required in the map to make this viable. So if you make a big map like this and you build it for other physics, you might be able to implement them across the board when all the old maps are phased out. But of course, that's a long project. Okay, but this is my pet map right now, with a lot of ideas. I could talk about them for hours, which I probably will in another series. But every hill in here has a story. Basically, I've made it to work. Okay, with all of the things I discussed before, with illustrating with Zuba's Lament, the type of hills being used here and everything, the way offense would come in and actually be covered by the terrain. There's a lot of things. I mean, the base would be rather complex, incorporated into everything here, and of course it's on a mesa, so chasing and even e-grabs could work into something, and then the offense would intercept. There's a lot of things going on in this map, but that's basically everything incorporated that I've been talking about so far results in this type of map. So really, I'm going to be looking at KatArx, and I hope that if Tribes isn't ready for this kind of map, maybe it will be for that map, and we can try and coax it into something that I would like to see. I don't think with the current design of KatArx there won't be any stand-to-stands, and the type of gameplay will be changed. It's only that I hope, if it's, like I said, I'm going to try everything to make it work, make it viable. Also the base design that's used there, it's going to be important to see how it deals with offense and everything, because of course the Arx base is better for offense than most maps, but KatArx uses terrain to help offense more. There's a lot of things to talk about here, but this is what I want to see eventually. This kind of big map, high speeds, terrain engineered to actually allow people to play. Because if we go back to the KatArx thing, I did see one thing. Where is it? There you go. Is the grooves that I was talking about, like this here, if you follow my arrow, that hopefully will lead to setup routes. Okay, that could point this as well, going straight to these, like low line of sight, doesn't help the sniper much, pointing the capper in the right direction, helping new cappers, because of course I think regular cappers will probably find other approach routes, but really obvious things and covered by from the sniper and everything, and taking everything into account into the balance of the map. So I'm looking forward to it. I mean, the base design looks complex enough to help out not the D-stack but the offense to survive. This is a problem with blue shift, because of course the offense has nowhere to go when they're on the stand. There's a lot of things to take into account, and I think this is going to be a good example of all the things I've been talking about for a very long time. So yeah, obviously the flag grab angles right now, the back is rather straight, liking Zuba's Lament also, there's only a couple of angles, but again, you need to know. And the wall here as well, it's big enough, but I think these bases should still be stretched out, and this center bowl should not be the be and end all of movement, because it's still far too straight for me. You're going in a little circle, that's great, but you're not allowing people to explore the rough terrain, the natural terrain, which is what I think Tribes should be about. So again, this is my idea. These are my concepts. I've done a lot of thinking about these things, and this is what I come out with. If you have any questions, if you want any topics that I should tackle, very specific things about certain maps. I think I'm going to do a run through of all the maps to detail what is wrong with them and why they are not viable, for instance, in certain aspects, how they could be fixed, but rather how to prevent them from happening again, because I don't think most maps will be revised, and it's going to be the concepts that we bring. All right, so I hope, again, if the map makers made it through this, a lot of ideas, a lot of different outside of the box thinking. Yeah, I might do a special on this map in particular even. Yeah, and I've basically exhausted all the things. I've got my base designs, I've got my terrain designs, I've got my different ways of playing this game. And taking into account, I mean, I didn't badger on about comp too much. I talked a lot about the public play, how people should be coaxed to ski and actually experience the game through, not through tutorials, because we might not get those, but maybe through the mapping design. We're really grasping for straws here, I will say that. And but I've kept my mouth shut enough to just focus on the bare bones of the maps. Okay, any questions, any response, I will gladly answer. Okay, so thanks for watching. There will be an addendum to this in terms of mapping criteria that I want to make, but that's for another video, I think. Alright, bye bye, thanks for watching.